Addressing the gathering, Sir Wadia said, I have always been a humble observer of men and events in the political field for half a century. I have also been a student of books on social and political philosophy. In the present day world of propaganda, where the mass of men are fed from day to day by the press and radio with conflicting ideologies. Even a detached observer finds it difficult to see clearly. If I am tempted to speak at an age when I have retired from all active work. It is because I have a desire to be helped to a little more clear thinking in this disturbed atmosphere as much as to help others to think because truth has little chance of emerging if it is not to be a product of cooperative endeavor. There is, for instance, the problem of non-alignment. It is not merely we in India who, led by the great leader, join in the song of praise, but a number of other nations newly born and characterized as politically immature from the top to the successive lower rungs of the political ladder, the notes of the siren song of non-alignment can be heard by the millions. We may be lulled to sleep for a moment by the music, but when we awake, shall we not, as rational human beings, consider the implications of non-alignment as policy? We are told it is not neutrality. We have been assured that it implies the right to think for ourselves and not as members of a political bloc on the individual merits or demerits of each political issue as it arises and decide for ourselves the policy that we should adopt. Such an explanation gives rise to more problems than the one which it was intended to solve. In the first place, it is not easy to decide between the good and the bad in the case of group activities involved in national conflicts. When we have found it difficult to decide between the good and the bad in the case of individuals. In the second place, we are by such an easy explanation undermining one of the fundamental principles of democracy which we are proud to advocate and equally proud to be labeled as one of the biggest democratic nations of the world. Are two minds wiser than one? Do we not acknowledge the rule of the majority in our government? For each government to plead that it is the best judge of events is to lead it to anarchy in the international field, just as the right of the individual to be the sole judge of good and bad may involve absence of law and order in the field of internal government. We may be told that we recognize the decision of the majority in the United Nations organization, but not in internal or domestic affairs. And does not every question become an internal question when it suits a country to call it internal, as in the case of Hungary or South Africa? In the next place, non-alignment is based on the assumption that there are two power blocks equally bad, and it is better to refrain from joining either of them. Who are we as a nation, it may be said, to judge what is bad and what is good in others? Dear Sir Gopal Rao, I was very much pleased to have your letter of the 20th April regarding the house at 276 Gandhi Nagar. It is most kind of you to let me take over the house on the condition which you have suggested, and I hope to call and see Sri Krishnamurthy of the Central Properties Company tomorrow. I shall try to move into the house on Wednesday, the 1st May. You will be interested to know that on the day following that on which I last wrote to you, I heard that my two children will be returning home from their boarding school in the control of the school authorities. As the buildings are to be vacated for a national cause, the school is no longer able to function. It has, as a matter of fact, been taken over for national purposes in view of the Chinese aggression. It is therefore even more important for me to be in a position to take over the house. I understand that completion ought to take place by the end of the month. But from past experience, I rather think that it may be longer than this before everything is in order. I am grateful for your kind wishes and will write to you again sometime next week. Hope this greets you and Srimati Gopala Rao in good health and cheer. With our best regards and wishes, yours sincerely.